It was a warm Saturday morning in Willow Creek, the kind of neighborhood that looked like it belonged on a magazine cover. Perfect lawns, white fences, kids playing hopscotch on the sidewalks, and neighbors sipping coffee on their porches. On the surface, it was quiet, peaceful, and picture-perfect. But anyone who had lived here long enough knew there was one shadow that hung over the neighborhood. Her name was Karen. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA. With her oversized sunglasses, neatly pressed polo shirt, and a clipboard that might as well have been her crown, she roamed the streets like a ruler inspecting her kingdom. She didn't smile, she didn't wave, and she certainly didn't miss a single thing that looked even remotely out of order. A trash bin out too long? She wrote a notice. A lawn slightly overgrown? Another fine. A mailbox that wasn't HOA approved? She took photos and threatened to escalate. Neighbors had learned to stay quiet, to keep their heads down, and to avoid her at all costs. I didn't know all this when I first moved in. I'd inherited my uncle's house after his passing. It wasn't the biggest or fanciest property on the block, but it was mine, and it held memories of my childhood summers spent there. I was looking forward to finally settling into a quieter life. But the moment I pulled into the driveway with my older car, groceries piled in the back seat, I felt her eyes on me. Karen came strutting down the sidewalk like she had been waiting for me. Her sunglasses reflected the morning sun, and the way she held her clipboard made it clear she thought she had authority over me. "Excuse me," she said, her voice sharp, her tone dripping with superiority. "This is Willow Creek. Your car, your fence, even your mailbox. None of it meets our community standards." I blinked, unsure if she was serious. "Good morning to you too. I just moved in. I'll get to the repairs soon." But Karen wasn't interested in patience. She looked me up and down, and with a smirk that could cut glass, she added, "Let me guess. You're renting, aren't you? Figures. People who actually own homes here know how to take care of them. We don't need bargain cases ruining the neighborhood." The words hit harder than I expected. Neighbors stopped what they were doing. Some gasped, others whispered. A couple of people pulled out their phones, clearly recording the scene. Karen had humiliated people before, but this time she was making it very personal. I took a slow breath and replied calmly, "No, I own this house. My uncle left it to me." Karen chuckled under her breath. "Sure. Well, if that's true, then maybe you should start acting like an owner. Because right now, you're bringing down property values." She snapped a picture of my mailbox, scribbled something on her clipboard, and walked away without another word. I stood there, humiliated. My chest burned with anger, but I stayed composed. Because what Karen didn't know was that my uncle hadn't just left me this one house. He had left me several properties in Willow Creek, including hers. The next few days were relentless. Karen doubled down. Notices appeared on my door every morning. One said my grass was half an inch too tall. Another claimed my trash bins were out 2 minutes past collection. She even had the nerve to comment on my curtains, saying they weren't community appropriate. She spread rumors to neighbors, whispering that I was broke, that I wouldn't last long here, that the HOA would probably push me out soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more unbelievable real lifestyle stories every day. Your support means the world and helps me keep sharing stories just like this one. The worst part was that most people stayed silent. They didn't agree with her, but they were too scared to stand up to her. She had ruled with fear for too long, but her arrogance was about to backfire. 1 week later, the HOA held its monthly meeting at the clubhouse. The room was full. Neighbors filed in with coffee cups and clipboards, tension buzzing in the air. Everyone knew Karen had something planned. She stood at the front, her chin high, clipboard in hand, eyes scanning the crowd like a teacher waiting to scold a classroom. And then she began. "As you all know," she said loudly, "our community is meant to uphold a certain standard. That's why we have the HOA, to protect property values, to keep things classy. Unfortunately, we've had a new resident who just doesn't seem to belong here, someone who clearly can't afford to keep up with the standards of Willow Creek. Gasps spread across the room. Every eye turned to me. She hadn't even tried to hide who she was talking about. Karen continued, her voice smug, her words dripping with venom. Frankly, if someone can't take care of their property, maybe they should consider living somewhere else. Willow Creek isn't for everyone. I felt every eye on me. My heart pounded, but I stood slowly, clutching the folder I had brought. I waited until the whispers died down, then spoke calmly, loud enough for everyone to hear. Karen, you've had a lot to say about me this week. About my car, my house, even my ability to live here. But maybe it's time the neighborhood knew the truth. Karen smirked, folding her arms. Go ahead. I'm sure this will be entertaining. I opened the folder and pulled out the property records. My voice was steady, but each word carried weight. I don't just own my uncle's house. I inherited several properties here in Willow Creek. The crowd stirred. Karen's smirk faltered just slightly. And as of last month, I continued, holding up one document for everyone to see, that includes your house. The room erupted. Gasps, murmurs, laughter. Phones shot up, recording every second. Karen's face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. What? What are you talking about? She stammered. I stepped closer, still calm. You pay rent, to me. And from now on, maybe you should think twice before insulting your landlord in front of the whole neighborhood. The crowd burst into applause. Some neighbors clapped, others laughed outright, and a few shouted things like, "About time." And finally, someone put her in her place. Karen's clipboard trembled in her hands before she dropped it, the sound echoing through the room. Her reign was over. From that day forward, Karen avoided me. She no longer strutted through the streets like a queen, no longer barked orders at families, no longer shoved her phone in people's faces. Every month she quietly sent her rent check, and every time I cashed it, I smiled. The woman who once tried to humiliate me for being too poor now had to pay me to live in her own home. And something else changed, too. The neighborhood itself grew lighter, friendlier. Neighbors who had once stayed silent now stopped to chat. Families decorated their homes without fear of harassment. Kids played freely without being told their toys were against the rules. Willow Creek finally felt like a community again. And every time Karen drove by, sunglasses hiding her eyes, people smiled. Because they all remembered the day the so-called Queen of Willow Creek was dethroned. So, what do you think? Was that justice, karma, or both? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more unbelievable real lifestyle stories every day. Your support means the world and helps me keep sharing stories just like this one.